Good evening, I'm Saul Saenz, and this is ABC-7 Xtra. Testing for COVID-19 throughout El Paso is increasing, so are the number of positive cases, and yes, sadly, the number of deaths. On Tuesday, New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham said during a news conference, El Paso COVID-19 cases pose a threat to Doña Ana County as well as to her entire state.
And if we aren't careful and we aren't clear that people move between communities, we spread risk not just to Doña Ana County, but you spread risk to every other county in New Mexico.
One of those communities she mentioned was El Paso. The statement was made as Governor Lujan Grisham announced plans for partial reopening of New Mexico. El Paso is moving forward with phase 2 of reopening. Friday, May 29th, bars and child care services can reopen and operate at 25% capacity. Dine-in restaurants and movie theaters that were allowed to operate at 25% capacity will now be able to operate at 50% capacity as of midnight, May 29th. Joining us to talk more about where both cities stand on reopening and how Las Cruces and El Paso share so much is Las Cruces Mayor Ken Miyagishima, and joining us also is El Paso Mayor Dee Margo. Welcome, gentlemen. And I'll start with you, Mayor Miyagishima. You heard the statements made by the governor. Do you believe that COVID-19 cases in El Paso pose a risk and a threat to Las Cruces?
You know, Saul, that's a good question. All I know is that a lot of our communities closest to our friends there in El Paso seem to have a higher number. So, for example, in our county, 70%, well, let me just say this, let me back up. 30% are from Las Cruces, 70% are primarily from the South Valley. So I think that that is probably what has prompted the governor to be somewhat concerned. You know, we recognize that it could come from a few different places, whether it's the meat packing place or the detention place, but nonetheless, I think that we can't seem to put our arms around what's happening over there.
Yeah. I'll pose the same question to you, Mayor Dee Margo. Do you believe that some of the cases in Las Cruces pose a risk to El Paso?
Well, I don't know that there's this epidemiology concern back and forth. I mean, you can't compare Las Cruces and El Paso like you can with Juarez, because we're basically under the same distancing protocols and the same kind of preventative measures with face coverings, et cetera. We're going to have more positives, and we're going to probably have, unfortunately, more deaths. We're going to have more hospitalization because we're 10 to 12 times larger than Las Cruces is. So, you know, I think it's more of a numbers issue. I think our delays, the county judge and I have gone through, are prudent and appropriate, but I can't see there would be any difference in how we're handling health protocols here and our epidemiology analysis, our contact tracing, than would be in New Mexico. And as I have talked to the governor a couple of weeks ago, and we texted, as a matter of fact, last night, and the main thing we talked about was she asked me to please discourage El Pasoans from going up to Elephant Butte, and that has more to do with the gatherings and the travel issues than it does with are you an epidemiology hotspot? I think that's the real key, is the gatherings, which is the same issue we have here in El Paso, and that's why our spikes of recent we attribute to Mother's Day and people going back and forth.
Mayor Miyagishima, by virtue of the numbers that you stated, the percentages of the number of people from Las Cruces as opposed to the number of people in El Paso who tested positive for COVID-19, is there anything that you and the governor believe should be done to try to prevent either people from going to El Paso or reduce the number of COVID-19 cases in Las Cruces if you feel that perhaps there is that threat?
So that question was asked of me, Saul?
And you believe what, sir? Should something be done to try to prevent that possible threat?
So I spoke to the governor on Friday, and she asked if I would do a video asking our residents to not go to El Paso. So ironically, I had done it the night before, and so it was ready to go Friday morning. So that worked out pretty good. But one of the things that she's committed to me is she has what they call a MAD, or medical advisory team, that has a lot of information to share with us there in Las Cruces. And so that, as well as getting with our local legislators, our state reps, our state senators, to try to get a better handle on what we can do to help our neighbors there in the South Valley, and subsequently there in El Paso. Of course, that also moves over to El Paso as well. So we're going to do our best.
Mayor Margot, do you believe the same ought to happen here in El Paso, try to prevent folks from going to Las Cruces and possibly bringing some sort of infection, COVID-19 infection to El Paso? Do you think you need to take the same action?
No, Saul, I don't. I think we're probably, as I say, from a health protocol standpoint with COVID-19, I would imagine that, and everything I've heard is that New Mexico is very similar to the requirements that we have related to large gatherings, related to face coverings, washing your hands, and all of those things. So I'm not sure that I think there should be a confidence level by the consumer on both sides. You know, we talk to people, if the consumer confidence is not there to go into an establishment, to go to a restaurant, to go shopping in some place, then they're not going to go. And if you're part of that vulnerable population we talk about in their 60s and 70s and older, or those who had underlying conditions, and as we've stated on numerous occasions, the bulk of the underlying conditions for the fatalities we've had as a result of COVID-19 happen to be diabetes and hypertension, high blood pressure. So if you're in a susceptible area, you shouldn't be out, but you shouldn't be doing it in New Mexico, and you shouldn't be doing it in Texas. So it's really kind of part and parcel. As I say, Mexico is different because their methodology and the way they initially went after COVID-19 was totally different than what we were doing in the United States. And when I say United States, I mean Texas and New Mexico. Okay. So I think that's a different mindset. So I don't see any real difference. And if the people in El Paso want to go up and spend Monday in Old Mesilla, which is a great place to go, that's fine with me. And the same way, if the residents of Las Cruces want to come south and visit our shops and what we have open, go for it.
Just bring your dollars, right?
So if I could throw in just...
we're going to take a quick break, but I'll definitely let you respond to that. Right now, you're watching ABC-7 Extra. When we come back, borderland health officials warned we could see a spike in cases after Mother's Day. Well, tomorrow we celebrate Memorial Day. I'll ask my guests if they expect to see yet another spike and what preventative measures officials from both cities are taking to try to stem that spike. You're watching ABC-7 Extra, where news comes first.
Can you cook up the barbecue bacon burger at home? Well, does your home have fresh chopped onions, pickles, smoked cheddar, Monterey Jack, bacon, tangy barbecue sauce, and orange and white stripes with the word Whataburger emblazoned out front? If so, then absolutely. Good thing there's the new limited time barbecue bacon burger at Whataburger, available in the drive-thru or order online for curbside pickup.
Claire Chase, a study in character. Chase claims she's pro-Trump, but called Trump an a-hole, bragging she didn't vote for the president. Claire Chase's attacks on Yvette Herrell are called false and absurd by the Republican House leader. As a lobbyist, Chase directed thousands of PAC dollars to Michelle Grisham as her radical agenda destroyed energy jobs. Claire Chase doesn't tell the truth about Trump or anything, and these two just love what she does.
Make New Mexico Great is responsible for the content of this advertising.
ABC-7 covers coronavirus in the borderland like no one else, in Texas and New Mexico. Viewers in Las Cruces are paying attention.
I just want to say KVIA-TV, Channel 7 does a fantastic job. They have a dedicated staff, 2 members, Kate Berry and Tom Scott, who provide information nonstop every day.
Whatever it takes, wherever you are, in Texas and New Mexico, ABC-7 is here to help you keep your family safe.
Hi. As you know, our community is in a crisis, trying to stop the spread of COVID-19. So if you could stay home, limit your travel, whether to going to the doctors or getting groceries, and if you can use the restaurants or the curbside, carry out, or drive-through, we'd appreciate it.
Stay informed. If you have any questions, visit the Department of Health online or give us a call. Together, we can flatten the curve.
The coronavirus outbreak is a huge story.
But ABC-7's commitment to you won't change. We report facts, not rumors.
We've been learning more details about the positive case that was reported.
We find the context, depth, and perspective to help you make smart decisions to keep your family safe.
Together, we'll fight fear and give you practical suggestions from the experts who know best.
We need to be prepared for flare-ups in certain regions.
We're working our hardest to keep your trust in ABC-7.
Where news comes first.
Is your business suffering while you do your part to stop the spread of COVID-19? ABC-7 is here to help. Sign up for your free Open for Biz page at kvia.com. It's a quick and easy way to let the public know when you're open, what changes you're making, and how you're helping your customers through the crisis. Once you're registered, it's easy to update your listing as your plans change. Just go to the coronavirus section at kvia.com and look for the Open for Biz link.
We want to salute everyone on the front lines.
Doctors, nurses, EMTs, everyone in the healthcare field.
Police, fire, military.
Truckers, grocery and pharmacy workers.
We know you're putting our health and safety in front of your own.
We love you and appreciate you.
At ABC-7, news comes first.
But we understand nothing we do would be possible if it weren't for your sacrifice and dedication.
You make the borderland special. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know this has been difficult. The move and a new stepfather, but we're gonna make a good life.
What is this thing?
It's called the Cosmic Staff.
Yes, that's cool.
Who are you?
I'm Stargirl.
Stargirl.
Tonight at 7 on the El Paso Las Cruces CW.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Thursday, both Mayor Margo and County Judge Ricardo Samaniego held a news conference updating COVID-19 numbers. They talked about the peak in numbers, possibly as a result from Mother's Day gatherings.
The mayor did allude to what happened in Mother's Day, and then a couple of weeks later, we have the peaks, and it's really difficult to be able to understand the numbers if we have peaks that are attributed to external or the fact that our community didn't respond accordingly.
I want to welcome back as well Las Cruces Mayor Ken Miyagishima. Also joining us is El Paso Mayor Dee Margo. Mayor Miyagishima, I interrupted you for a second, and you wanted to respond to what Mayor Dee Margo had said?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of point out that I don't want our friends in El Paso to think we don't want to go visit them. It's not that. It's just that now we're learning more and more about this COVID-19 with people being asymptomatic and being around crowds. You just don't know who's the carrier unless you're tested. And so, and then with the holiday, like I said, tomorrow is a Memorial Day. You know, when you have those large gatherings, you just don't know if someone has the symptom. And so all we're asking until we get more testing done, a few other things, just if they could stay home and stay put, unless of course they have to go. You know, if they work in El Paso or if they have to go see the doctor or something of that nature, of course, we understand that. But I mean, if just to go to kind of get away, if they could just, and I know it's difficult, it's very difficult. And if I may, Saul, I just want to put a quick thank you to Congresswoman Escobar. She had earlier in the week this video conference, and there was these two experts, and there was this one in particular, I don't have his name, he was from Virginia or Tennessee. And I learned more in that 10 minutes than I have in various other information. And so I feel, you know, as time goes on, I'm getting more and more knowledgeable about this COVID-19 and how to deal with it. And then one thing that that gentleman said, it is a different strain. It comes from a family, I think he said, of 7 different viruses within the SARS family. So the way he put it was just incredible.
Yeah. Let's move on, Mayor Margo, to Memorial Day. As you well mentioned, it's believed that during Mother's Day, we might have gotten some cases from that moment from Mother's Day. Do you believe that Memorial Day might bring us a peak in cases as well? And what's being done to prevent a spike?
Well, we're discouraging people from the same thing we've done before. Yes, to answer your question, yeah, we do think there may be a spike because of Memorial Day. And that's one reason Judge Samaniego and I asked the governor to delay opening El Paso anymore until the 29th to at least get us through Memorial Day. People are confused about when the symptoms occur after contact, and it's anywhere from 2 to 14 days. So it's not a 14-day number. Dr. Ocaranza talked about that at our press conference on Thursday. It's 2 to 14 days. So we could have something, and that was one reason that Judge Samaniego and I agreed in our discussions with the governor to delay it delay opening more of El Paso until the 29th. Anytime you have those gatherings, our biggest concern has always been people traveling to Juarez. We have families on both sides, culture, commerce on both sides for over 300 years. And that's just part and parcel to who we are. But we've been trying to discourage people from going to Juarez and large gatherings. And most of the positives that have come out of gatherings in homes, based on the data we've seen from an epidemiology analysis as for contact tracing. So it's where you let your guard down. We're known for large families in this region.
Right.
So consequently, you have those kind of gatherings, and Memorial Day brings out another one. So yes, we're kind of concerned about that, but we also think, on the other hand, that we've got the hospital space, ICU space, and ventilators that we need, and the governor's told us he will assist if there's any kind of concern about that. So from a medical standpoint, we think we're okay. We still want to discourage gatherings, large gatherings. That's the concern, and we would prefer people stay in El Paso rather than going to Juarez over Memorial Day.
Mayor Miyagishima, any preventative measures that are being taken over Memorial Day in Las Cruces?
Well, we are closing the parks, and that's one thing there that I know, as Mayor Margo put, there's a lot of families, they want to get together. They've been cooped up in the house, and we understand that. And but again, as I was mentioning before, there are a lot of people who don't show the symptoms that could be a carrier, and that's where sometimes, as you were mentioning earlier during the Mother's Day portion about a spike, we hope that there's not a spike for Memorial Day.
Did you all see the same spike, Mayor Miyagishima? Did you see the same spike after Mother's Day?
Well, I believe so. I mean, we've had the last week or so a little bit higher numbers, and we are attributing that to Mother's Day.
Yeah. So, Mayor Margo, do police officers or law enforcement in general ever break up some of the groups when they see large gatherings here in El Paso? Are they able to? No. There's no, and our governor's made it abundantly clear there's no jail penalty. The businesses that fail to comply, we can remove their operating permits. We can do that. That's why it'll be imperative that when the bars open up at 25%, which is a real concern to a lot of us, and when the restaurants go to 50%, that if people, if they're not abiding by the protocols that have been established in our emergency orders as per the governor's direction, then we will take action on that employer. But for the most part, we want to have people wear face coverings, but there's not a way to enforce that other than encouraging them to do so. And then the confusion arises from people who are saying, well, how do I wear one in a restaurant? You don't wear it in the restaurant. You wear it to the restaurant. You wear it when you're leaving. If you're going to a bar when they're open, same thing. You wear it in, and then you put it on as you leave. But no, you don't wear it while you're sitting there having dinner or lunch or whatever. Got it.
So, but when you're going to retail establishments or stores, whatever, it's encouraged to wear those, yes.
All right. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. Still ahead, health officials keep telling us that testing is crucial to combating COVID-19. But is Las Cruces and El Paso sharing testing information as well as contact tracing information? I'll ask my guest. We'll be back.
It's New Deal Furniture's Memorial Day stimulus sale. Take 50% off regular price on anything in the store, or up to 60 months special financing on approved credit.
Hurry! New Deal Furniture's biggest sale ever ends soon.
We all need heroes now more than ever. If you have encountered a hero in healthcare or a first responder, we want to know. Go to the share link at kvia.com or the ABC-7 News app and upload a photo so they can be recognized. Healthcare Heroes, sponsored by Raising Cane's.
Planning your Social Security retirement is something we all think about. It is important you are well informed on all of your options. Your Medicare coverage is imperative for your health. Let Ramos Health Plans guide you through it all. We have licensed agents ready to assist you. Are you new to Medicare? Or do you have questions about your coverage? We can do enrollments electronically or over the phone. When you have Medicare, you have options. Let one of our virtual agents help you with your enrollment today. Don't let social distancing stop you from your benefits. Call Ramos Health Plans at 626-6137.
Some people think that we in the church only want your money. That's not true. We also want your blood. There's a critical shortage in our El Paso community. Finally, you have a good reason to get out of the house. Share the gift of your good health.
Give the gift of life.
Mornings will never be the same. It's your Magic Morning Vibe with Rick and Patty. Everything to get your day started off right. Listen live online. You don't even need an app at magic1049fm.com.
It's New Deal Furniture's Memorial Day stimulus sale. Take 50% off regular price on anything in the store or up to 60 months special financing on approved credit.
Hurry! New Deal Furniture's biggest sale ever ends soon.
Back to ABC-7 Extra, we're joined by Las Cruces Mayor Ken Miyagishima. Also joining us is El Paso Mayor DeMargo. And I'll start with you again, Mayor Ken Miyagishima. I asked Mayor DeMargo if perhaps perhaps some law enforcement officers are doing something to break up gatherings in El Paso. Are they doing that in Las Cruces? Breaking up groups?
To my knowledge, no, but we do have some people who find their way into our parks, and we ask them to leave and they comply. We use a combination of both security and police.
Let me follow up by asking you about contact tracing and some of the testing. Is that information shared with El Paso? All the COVID-19 testing, as well as information that you get on contact tracing?
You know, I couldn't tell you for sure. You know, we get of course, our daily updates, and then I turn to KVIA for my news about El Paso and how they are doing. Of course, we have the state has their dashboard, which we look at that daily. So I don't know if our emergency responding team works with the El Paso team and shares numbers. That I couldn't tell you.
I'll pose the same question to you, Mayor.
That's a good idea, and we need to, if we're not doing it, we need to start.
I'll pose the same question to you, Mayor Margo. Do you believe that we're sharing information with Las Cruces, and should we be sharing information with Las Cruces when it comes to COVID-19 testing as well as contact tracing?
Well, so it's my understanding that, for instance, in the meatpacking plant in southern Doña Ana County, I think 30 of the employees, which had a high incidence, which incidentally the governor of New Mexico had called me a few weeks ago to talk about that when she was starting the testing there. But I think at least a third of the employees or more were our El Paso residents. So from a contact tracing standpoint, there was discussion with the New Mexico Department of Public Health and our public health and the contact tracing and the verifications that go on. Occasionally, we've had a Las Cruces or Doña Ana County resident in our hospitals. We were talking about that. Dr. Ocaranza mentioned that on Thursday. And we'll, of course, go back and forth. I do believe there is conversation with the public health officials in New Mexico, especially when it needs to be done vis-a-vis contact tracing or having one of the residents of New Mexico in one of our health facilities. We do the same thing with Juarez. We have discussions with them. So I think there's a reasonable amount of conversation and connection, and hopefully it's enough to alleviate any concerns with people. But Dr. Ocaranza would be better suited to cover this, or Mario D'Agostino, head of our emergency operations.
Mayor Miyagishima, are you comfortable with the amount of testing and contact tracing that's being done in Las Cruces, or does more need to be done?
Well, so we have a little bit higher percentage than most of these cities in the state. We're at about 5%, and it's going to get higher. The percentage is going to get higher because now we have a laboratory that's open in Las Cruces that now, instead of the hospitals having to send their information to Albuquerque, it can be done there in Las Cruces. So the governor would like for us to be at about 25%, which I would too. And so we're going to get to that pretty quick. So that's going to be pretty amazing to have 25% of our residents screened or tested.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, are you comfortable with the amount of testing that we're having now? Because we have increased in El Paso the amount of testing, and we've also are doing some more contact tracing. Are you comfortable with that, or do you need to increase that?
Well, we're constantly increasing the amount of testing. We're doing over 1,000 a day. As of Friday, we've done 3% of our population, and we're on track to have 5% of the population done before the end of June. We were originally shooting before the end of June to have 5%. I think I can't remember the number we've done so far. I was trying to check my notes on total, but we're, as I say, over 1,000 a day, and we've increased our contact tracing staff, the epidemiology staff, from 8 at the public health department to 158. I understand we're only at capacity for utilizing of about 85 of them right now for the contact tracing on where we are. UTEP is now geared up for their laboratory to assist our public health laboratory, and then we have the private labs who are also providing information. We've had some lags on getting the data from the private labs. LabCorp was only reporting initially to the state and to the federal government, and I understand they're supposed to be reporting to us locally, as they should. So we have better numbers in where we are, and have been providing all the information that we can publicly on that. So the more we're doing as much testing as we can, we're also doing, which we don't even include in our numbers, the epidemiology, the testing for the antivirus, the viral, if you had the virus, those antibody tests.
Yeah.
We're doing those as well, primarily for first responders and the medical and also the medical frontline personnel. But that's going to be open, so people can do both. And we've got all the multiple test sites, and with the governor's strike force in here, we've had 4 mobile test sites moved around to where we had high incidence of positives.
Okay, Mayor DeMargo, Mayor Ken Miyagishima, thank you so much for taking time on this Sunday evening to share all that information with our viewers on ABC-7 Xtra. And I want to thank you for joining us and allowing us into your living rooms. I'm Saul Sainz, and this has been ABC-7 Extra. Good night y buenas noches.